Let me concentrate. Thank you.
Well, it does sound like you're having a stroke.
Tico and Tiff. Tico and Tiff by 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 Tiff.
Hello, and welcome to By the Fifth. It's your boy Roger Trent. I'm here with my girl Tiffany, as always. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hola.
Hola.
We were just doing a little bit of Spanish, so I thought it would be appropriate for me to say hola.
Oh,
hola,
yeah.
senor.
I see you with the Spanish. I see. I was telling her that a friend of mine, Yuri, shout out to Yuri. She would always call me Rogelio when I come in there. So I was saying that to warm up today. Rogelio, but you can't roll your R's.
I cannot roll my R's.
Try it.
No. That was my attempt. Do you really want to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, you promise you won't laugh?
I won't laugh.
It's okay if you do.
Okay.
Let me concentrate. Thank you.
Well, it does sound like you're having a stroke. You know, I'm about to check your.
Oh my gosh.
Make sure that you're good.
That was actually accurate though. Oh my goodness, yes. That would be the comparison. So
I was a little worried. I was a little worried.
No medical emergency, so we're good for now.
Right, so we're good.
We won't do that anymore. Y'all, I cannot roll my R's. I'm sorry.
Oh gosh.
You're making me turn red. Oh my gosh. That was a good one. Thank you.
Oh gosh, that was funny. That was funny. So we've been through some serious weather.
We have, yes.
Yeah.
So for those of y'all that aren't here in Nashville, what was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Was our snow/ice storm?
Yeah.
Yes. So we're about 2 weeks past that now.
And you know, and I know this was a huge storm. So many of you out there in Pittsburgh and all the way to Texas to Alabama, all of you have experienced some part of this storm. For us here in Nashville, it was wow. I seen trees down like it was a tornado.
Yes.
Wasn't that wild?
Yes. I actually went out to Green Hills. It was actually yesterday, I believe.
Okay.
And the amount of trees that were down, I just had no idea.
Wow.
I had no idea. You know, lots of the neighborhoods out there, they're a little bit older, so they've got old trees. And I just was not expecting to see that many trees down. And just like you said, it was almost like a tornado went through there.
Yeah. I was so just taken aback by the amount of trees that I seen down yesterday. And the same, I was traveling, you know, all over Nashville yesterday. And I was just like, they are everywhere. I don't ever remember seeing that, something like that. Not from that, you know what I mean, that scale, right? I know at my home I had multiple trees down, you know, and what's crazy is like, I could hear when the ice hit, I could hear the cracking, like it sounded like a monster coming through the woods. Because, you know, around my house is nothing but woods. So you're crack, 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 trees falling.
Well, that's what they were saying too. I forgot what it's called, the scientific term, but trees can explode.
Oh.
So people were hearing a lot of like noises they had never heard before, but it was from these trees exploding from the ice. Again, I don't remember how they explained it, but that's a real thing.
Well, I tell you what, I'm sitting in my house and the lights go out. It was like a scary movie.
That's what I was going to say, like a scary movie.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, we have so many people that have moved here from out of state. And so they really don't understand how devastating when we get ice here in Nashville, it can actually be. We would love to have snow instead of ice.
Yes.
But that is not what we got this time around. We got a little bit of snow, so it was pretty, but it was the ice that caused all of the damage for the most part.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, I live in a house, you know what I mean? So I'm responsible for if the electricity goes out, the water goes out, any of that type of stuff, I'm responsible
You're
for.
the tenant and the landlord.
I'm the tenant and
24/7.
24/7. So anything happens, it's on me. Or I got to complain to the state or the city, right? So from a perspective of a property manager and being in property management, how does that work when there is things that are beyond your control, like, you know, the lights go out or that sort of thing?
I apologize. I'm getting ready to sneeze. I'm trying to
Go
hold
ahead,
it in.
sneeze.
I'm so
You're
sorry. Well, again, you get to be the tenant and the landlord every day. You just try to prepare as much in advance as you possibly can. Again, the weather can try to predict how much, you know, snow or ice we're going to get, but that really doesn't. You can prepare for that, but you can't prepare for how it's going to affect the buildings, the trees, and the roads. Right? So I know we've talked about, you know, many topics and being proactive. So again, that's the best preparation, trying to be as proactive as possible. So since we're talking about the trees, for example, every year we'll go through and see which trees look like they might be damaged. You know, if there's any that need to be taken out. That's the first thing. So you're looking for possible hazards.
Okay.
So what we've experienced with the power outages, trees were falling on top of power lines. People lose power, right? So as a property manager, those are the type of things that you look for. You look for possible hazards. You know, if a tree could fall, how could that impact, you know, the community. Again, we don't want to take all the trees out.
Right.
Because we love our trees. We love the shade they provide. You know, we've got lots of properties have lots of old trees. You just don't want to take everything out.
Yes.
But you just try to be as proactive as possible. If you know something looks like it's dying, it's better to go ahead and get that out than leave it there for a possible storm like a tornado. So that's the first thing you can look at. Just something simple like that.
Okay. So walk me through this. Like for about a week, they were talking about the storm coming, right? They were saying it's coming, and you know, it kept changing. We're going to have a lot of snow. No, it's going to be ice. No, it's going to be snow.
I feel like at one time they were saying like 2 to 16 inches of snow, and I was like, that's a big difference. But again, they were trying. You know, they were looking so far out.
Yes.
It was really hard to be, you know, as specific as possible. So
yeah. So walk me through what will typically happen on site. You know, as you guys are getting ready for, you know.
So we talked about trees, and that's something that's done on a yearly basis. And again, that just doesn't have to do with snow and ice. That has to deal with just dead trees. We live here in Nashville where there's lots of tornadoes. So that's one thing that can be done. The next thing that I would say that you want to do, you want to work with your maintenance team as well. So ice melt.
Oh, yeah.
You know, try to make sure that you have that stuff in stock, because if you wait until 3 days before the storm hits, most likely you're not going to be able to get those materials or supplies. So I don't believe in stockpiling anything, because I feel like you do that for yourself. It doesn't leave anything for anyone else. But make sure that you've got, you know, a good amount of ice melt. Because again, depending on your community, you may have a couple of hundred people. You could have over 1,000 people. And again, since we own it, we have to try to do everything that we can to make sure that we're putting out the necessary materials to make it as safe as possible. So ice melt, that's a big thing, right?
Okay.
I would say even with that, you need to come up with a plan. When are you going to start putting those supplies out, and who's going to do it?
Okay.
That's a big thing, right? So again, just the communication, putting something like that into plan. Depending on who you work with for snow removal, you need to contact them as well too, right? Because if you wait until the day that it happens and you're trying to make phone calls, you may never get to speak with someone because they've already committed to 10 other properties.
Good point.
Yeah. So again, it's really about being proactive. But again, having the right supplies, having a plan. I think the big thing with this time around, since the amount of precipitation was just so unknown, you kind of have to plan for the worst, right?
Okay.
So a lot of communities, they might have maintenance technicians that live on site, but if they don't, you got to think about who is going to be on site to help if nobody else can get in. So again, there's a number of things that you can talk about before the storm hits and putting a plan in place. So once it happens, everybody knows what their roles are and what their responsibilities are.
Okay. I remember working at a property here in Nashville when there was a big snow. And it happened while I was at the office. So by the time work was over, I couldn't go nowhere.
You were stuck.
I was stuck.
Yeah.
So I ended up spending the night in our office. But let me tell you, this turned into like a really fun event.
Okay.
Because
there's always a silver lining, right?
Yeah. The neighbors seen that I was there and they started coming and knocking on the door and they were like, would you like some food? And so I had food from Somalia. I had Mexican food. I had soul food.
You took a trip around the world all in one snowstorm.
I did.
I love it.
And it was such a diverse community. You know, they were all just giving me what they had from their homes. They seen my car was out there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you can't go, you know.
I love that because you know what that also makes me think about? If they're checking on you, they're probably also checking on their neighbors as well, too. And that is truly what a community is supposed to be, that you're looking out for one another. I love that. You have a trip around the world in a snowstorm.
I did.
That sounds like a resident event.
It was a resident event. Yeah. It was my first. And so we had... this was a while ago, but they had some DVDs in there. Okay. There we had a DVD player, a television, so we were watching movies. Occasionally someone would knock on the office door and say, hey, somebody's stuck, and we would all go out and help push the car. Like, it really was a memorable, you know, event. So we made the best out of it. That's good. And it was definitely a community coming together and actually having a fun night.
I love that they saw you were there and they took care of you. I think that's how it should be because, again, they probably did that for their neighbors as well. So, I love that. I love that. But speaking of neighbors and residents, checking on your neighbors.
Great segue.
Right? Right?
You got this thing.
I mean, it's a real thing. You know, in our communities, we're made up of all age groups. You know, we're fortunate that we're mobile and we can get out and we can do things, but lots of times you will have a lot of residents that may not have that mobility, right?
Yes.
So, you know, us as employees, we'll do our best, you know, to check on people when necessary. But if it's a snowstorm, they may not have anybody to check on them besides the person that is their next door neighbor, right?
That's a good point.
So again, talking about the resident events, this is a good way to meet your neighbors at a resident event. So then, like, say if there is some type of emergency or everyone's snowed in, you know, just to be able to go knock on the door and say, hey, Mr. John, you know, you still good? You need anything?
Yes.
That is what we're supposed to be if we're a community. So yes, go to the resident events.
That's great.
Meet your neighbors. So if ever there's a natural disaster, you know the people around you that you can go check on, or possibly if you need help, they might be able to assist you.
Absolutely. And your residents may have things that you don't have, you know, or vice versa. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, you know, I didn't get enough bread, but I have bread. Oh, well, I have peanut butter. You know what I mean? You can share, you know, and again, like, you know, like you're saying, it helps build community. Yes, you're working through that storm. Yes, you're making sure everybody's okay, but you're also building a community.
Yes.
Which is so important.
Yep,
So
that
important.
definitely, it makes a big difference. And I would say too, you know, say if I moved from Florida.
Yes.
Like you said, just being prepared. There may be some things that I've never thought of before.
Yes.
But you as my neighbor, you may be able to be like, now Tiffany, you need to bring all them plants in because they're not going to survive. But again, it's just the little things that can make a big difference. And again, if you're snowed in for a couple of days, just being able to talk to your neighbor across the door or across the breezeway makes you feel good.
Yes.
Makes you feel good, sir.
Yeah, it makes you feel, it brings comfort, you know. I remember when I came here to Nashville to see, I was looking at housing and jobs years ago, and I was thinking about moving here from Pittsburgh. And so I stayed not far from here at a hotel. And while I was in my hotel, there was a tornado siren going off, and all the lights went out in the hotel.
And I bet you had no idea what was going on.
No idea. I was in the bathroom, hunkered down, like, what the heck? You know what I mean? Do I want to move here?
Right.
So I went outside when it was over. And the storm did come through. And I went outside, I was on the balcony, and other people from other states were out on their balcony. And they were like, man, this is crazy. Have you ever seen anything like this? I'm no. And I met like 4 or 5 other people. We all hopped in one van. And we drove to a billiard. And we just hung out. You know, we spent that day, total strangers. None of us knew each other. But we spent the day just, you know, enjoying each other, talking about where we were from, what our goals were, why we were here in Nashville, the storm, you know. But it was cool for me being from another place and not having anybody here. But to be able to lean on my neighbors, so to speak, turned out to be, again, another wonderful memory.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad you guys were all safe, because we know tornadoes here in Middle Tennessee, they're literally life-changing. And they do happen here frequently. But yeah, I'm glad you guys were all safe and you survived. So
So I love that point that you brought up. I wouldn't have thought of that point, but that's a very, very good point. Tell me about this. You know, a lot of you gave me.
I'm like, oh no. The look you gave me made me think, oh, well, let me put on my thinking cap real tight. Yeah, I'm ready.
The look you gave me was like, boy, please.
I'm trying to get ready. I'm like, this is gonna be a good one.
You did one of these. That's why I started laughing. No. But when we think about below freezing, and pipes. You know, so let's talk about that.
Again, there's just basic precautions that you can take. One, never turn your heat off, right? If you have power, you want to make sure that you keep your heat on. Now, having said that, when the temperatures drop down really low, I think we've probably all heard this stuff on the news, it makes a strain on the power grid as well, right? So again, you just kind of, you know, try to do your part and be smart about it, right? So if it's only 5 degrees outside, if you turn your heat all the way up to 80, your apartment or even your home is probably not going to get up to 80 degrees if it is that cold outside. So just realizing that you may not be able to heat your home to a temperature that you desire, just because it is so cold outside and everybody else is trying to do the same thing. So for us, you know, we try to educate the residents and let them know that, because maybe under normal circumstances, if they put their heat on 75, it would be up to 75 within an hour or two, right? So we just want to let people know you don't have to don't call the emergency maintenance line for that, because there's really not anything that can be done if it's that cold outside. So again, being prepared. We know it's going to be freezing outside. Make sure you've got some warm clothes, especially if you're from Florida.
Right. For sure.
So, I mean, again, just something simple like that. Make sure that you've got warm clothes. And then, of course, in the event that the power does go out and you maybe don't have a wood-burning fireplace, again, just being prepared, making sure that you've got clothing and blankets for stuff like that. But again, don't turn the heat off. That is not a good thing. Also, make sure that you leave your cabinet doors open as well, too. So that way, the warm air, it has a place to go. It can travel in there to try to keep the pipes from freezing. And of course, everybody knows, let your faucets drip as well, too. And these things, they sound simple, but a lot of people forget to do those things.
Oh, yeah.
So again, we just try to remind people. We'll send out emails, send out text messages, just to remind people of those simple things, and they really can make a difference.
Yes. I've seen recently with this past cold weather where residents had left, they forgot to turn their water drip, and it busted, the pipes busted. So, it's tough because, it's not just tough on the property, but then it's going to be tough on you as a resident, what I mean? And what that's going to look like if your pipes burst,
It can be a horrible mess.
Yes.
A horrible mess. So again, some things we can't prevent from happening.
Right.
But there's a lot of small things that we can do to try to, minimize if there is any damage that does occur.
Absolutely. Wow.
I'll tell you this too. So what's pretty cool, we have smart locks and smart thermostats here at the community.
Okay.
So I don't know why I'm just stuck on Florida. Somebody must be taking me to Florida soon, or I'm going there.
You love the beach.
I love the beach. Oh my gosh, yes I do. But okay, so with the technology that we have, and a lot of apartment communities have this technology. A lot of homeowners have this technology as well. But if you have a smart thermostat, you can control that thermostat remotely. All right. So let's just say I've got my Florida vacation coming up, right? And so when I leave for Florida, here in Nashville, it's 75 degrees. So do you think I'm going to have my heat turned on if it's 75 degrees here in Nashville?
Yeah.
I'm probably not, right? So anyways, I go on to my vacation. I go to Florida, right? And what do we say in Nashville? You can experience all 4 seasons within a day, right?
Yes.
So like literally, I think next week it's supposed to be maybe like close to 70 degrees. And then the next day it drops down into the 30s, right?
Yes.
So look, I'm on vacation. I'm in Florida, but now Nashville is going to get a snow or an ice storm. Well, we won't even say that. We'll just say the temperatures are going to drop really, really low. Well, guess what? In my apartment community, they sent me a text message reminder to turn your heat on. Since I've got this smart thermostat in my apartment, I can go onto my app and literally turn my heat on with just one touch.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So this stuff isn't cheap. Don't get me wrong. We paid a lot of money for this. But just that convenience, as long as I've got internet access and the apartment, the community hasn't lost power. If I'm in Florida and it's 85 degrees and back home in Nashville, it's 12 degrees, I can turn my heat on remotely.
Wow. That's a great
We love technology. I know a lot of us fight it sometimes. But just for little things like that can make a world of difference.
Yeah.
A world of difference. So
that's a great benefit. I love that.
Yep.
Love that.
Because we know Nashville, you can experience all 4 seasons.
Absolutely.
One day or in a matter of 2. That's just how our weather is. So
yeah. And if you're out of town, and you're that's great. That's great.
So when you're looking for your next apartment home, ask them about smart locks and smart thermostats, because it's really something that can benefit you.
Yeah. Love that. So at the end of the day, how did it work out for you?
Well, I will say here at our community, we were very, very fortunate. Power did go out, but it was one of those things. It was just maybe for about an hour, and it was after the large storm had passed. So we were very fortunate that we did not lose any power.
Nice.
We did not have any pipes that burst, so we were very fortunate.
Nice.
There are a lot of communities that did not fare as well. So again, you just think about what are the things that you can do to minimize the damages. That's one thing. But number 2 is having a plan in place when those things do happen. So, if the whole property loses power, oh, you got a lot of residents that are going to be needing assistance.
Yeah.
So again, just trying to stay in communication with them, giving them information ahead of time. So if that were to happen, to kind of know, so they can know what they might be able to expect in the days forward. But again, we were really fortunate. I know there were a lot of apartment communities that were not. Unfortunately, we did have a sister community that was without power and water for quite a few days.
Oh, wow.
But we were actually able to take in some of those residents
Nice.
temporarily.
Nice.
So we were able to help that way. But I would say just with that too, having, hopefully you might have friends or family. So if you were in a situation where you were to lose power and water, hopefully you do have somewhere else where you can go.
Yeah.
So again, I think a lot of people don't think about that, but just add that to your plan in case of emergencies. If this were to happen, who can I call and reach out to that I might be able to stay with temporarily? But again, we were able to help some residents from another community to stay here, just until they could get back in their apartment homes.
That's great. Great.
Small silver lining, we do what we can. We do what we can.
Yeah, another benefit of having sister properties, right?
Yeah, that is definitely a benefit, yes.
Yeah, I love that. Anything else that a resident can prepare for themselves when it comes to, that cold weather like that? Anything else that they can do themselves or communicate to the office?
I think probably the best thing that residents can do, and even just homeowners, take a look at what your daily routine is, right? And just speaking of power, just think about, if my power were to go out, how would this affect my daily routine? Just something to think about. Same thing if you were to lose water. If we were to go without running water for X amount of days, how would that affect my daily routine? So I think that's probably the biggest thing. Just look at what you have going on. If something were to happen, what are you going to do? It doesn't take a whole lot of thought. Just, a couple of things can make a world of difference. Having bottled water.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes we take that stuff for granted, that we have those luxuries, but just small things like that can help you through a disaster.
Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you something I used was these Amazon light bulbs.
Okay.
That are, you can use them on a daily basis. And while you're using them, they're charging.
Okay.
So you just put them in your light bulb and they're charging. So when the lights go off, the bulbs stay on, So I have plenty of those bulbs.
That's
and you
cool.
can unscrew them.
I don't have anything like that.
Oh, they have these little things that you can walk around with and hang it up. You screw it into that. You can put it into your lamp or into these.
Got it.
And you can hang these wherever you need them. And so I had light bulbs everywhere, because of these things charging.
Okay.
So you didn't even have to get ready.
Because you're already ready. What's the saying they say? If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Right.
Yep. So I think that should just be our motto. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And again, you can't predict everything that's going to happen.
Right.
But there are small things that you can do to make it a little bit easier if something like a natural disaster were to happen.
Yes. I love it. Well, this is great. This was good.
I mean, yeah. What did they say? The last bad ice storm was like in 1994. So hopefully we will not have anything of this magnitude for the next 30, 40, 50 years.
Yes.
But I would also say, if you are new to the area and you have questions, go talk to the staff at the apartment community that you live at. We may not have all the answers, but we'll try to give you the best information that we have. And then if it's something that, maybe we've never thought of, we will definitely look into that to see how we can accommodate you, answer your questions, or try to be more prepared. So, because again, we are a community.
Yes.
We are a community. You told me about these light bulbs.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go on Amazon and add them to my cart.
Yes. I'm gonna my mom, my 80-year-old mama told me about these.
Okay.
She said, "Do you got some of those bulbs that you plug in and they charge?" I was like, "What?" She was like, "Yeah, I got plenty of them. Boy, you need to come up to date."
Yeah.
So she was right. I went right online, got those. So glad that I did. So
Yes.
glad I did, because it was one thing I didn't have to worry about, because you don't have to worry about candles, you know.
Yeah, so that's
Candles is an issue, right? And apartments especially.
That is another one, yes. So
Yeah.
if you are using candles, be very, very, very cautious.
Yes.
Of course, you know, you need a light source, you need a heat source, but please be very cautious because you are connected
Yes.
to other people. So
Absolutely.
you want to look out for yourself, but you also want to look out for them just as they would look out for you as well, too.
Yeah, yeah. And if you have these bulbs, you can have them in other rooms. And that way, the warm room that you're in, you can have the candle and you can keep an eye on it, right? As opposed to having it in all these different rooms,
Right.
you know, by themselves, which
Right.
isn't a good idea,
Right. So yeah, just try to be prepared. So I think what we're figuring out here, tornado season is around the corner, correct?
Yes, correct.
It's a great possibility that a lot of people can lose
power
power
for sure.
again. So just these small things to keep
Yes.
you comfortable in your home can make a world of difference.
World of difference. All right, Tiff. Well, this was a good one.
We didn't freeze.
We didn't.
We didn't freeze.
We didn't freeze. We made it through.
Yes, no need to unthaw.
No need to unthaw.
I think we're going to get another winter weather event.
She keeps saying this, y'all. I hope she
it's
is
so-
wrong.
but you
I
know-
hope she is wrong.
But where am I from? Do you remember where I'm from?
You are from. I don't.
Nashville. I'm a unicorn.
That's right. She always says she's a unicorn.
I'm from Nashville. I'm a unicorn. So
Right.
that's what I'm saying. Like over the years, I've seen it. You think spring is coming, and then winter hits again. So I'm just, for everyone out there, just think about when the next one comes, and just try to do these small things because it's going to happen.
Yeah,
Again.
yeah, good
It's going to
point.
happen again because
Good point.
I'm from Nashville. I know what I'm talking about.
She knows what she's talking about. You want to know something about Nashville? Yeah, that's who you got to talk to.
It's me.
It's her. So, all right. Well, hey, you know, stay tuned. Remember to share, like, put the thumbs up, tell other people about us. And we're looking to do a live event next month. A live event. So we will, you know, let you know who the guest is. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So you definitely want to tune in for that.
Yes.
And we'll get more information for you regarding that at a later time.
Yep. And if you guys have any interesting stories or some topic that you want to talk about or you want to hear us talk about, please let us know. Because I know there's a lot of people out there that have got a lot of great stories, whether it's just pure comedy or whether it's inspirational. We want to hear your stories as well, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's all the time we have. It's your boy Roger. As you know, you can call me Tico with my girl here, Tiff. Signing out. Bye, Liz. Bye-bye.
Stay warm.
Stay warm.